So we're going to talk about how to start an ADU in Los Angeles without getting screwed over in the process by an architect, by the city, or by the contractor. So number one, we're going to go for finding an architect first. I know everybody thinks it's finding the contractor first. It's finding the architect first. So who's an architect that could actually get the job done? And this is what you want to look in an architect. One, if they're going to actually submit the plans to the city and take care of that whole process for you. Because if you're working or you're busy doing your 9 to 5 or you own a business, the last thing you want to do is be pushing papers with the city. A lot of architects will give you a price and say, hey, it's $2,000-3,000, but they just drop the plans for you and say, hey, here you go, submit them. Once you get corrections back from the city, bring them back to me. So you've never done this process before. So the headache factor is going to be huge when you get that from an architect. Now you have the other architect. The other architect might charge a little bit more, but they're going to actually take it through the whole process, get the plans approved for you, and then give you what's called RTI. As soon as you get RTI, which is ready to issue, then you could get quotes from that. Or even a little prior to that, you can start getting quotes from contractors. But that's number one, is getting your architect. Number two is like, how are you actually going to fund this? So once your architect goes out and gives you an idea of what you could build, maybe you pay them $300, $400, $500 and they give you a schematic design of what could be built. Start quoting that with contractors. Like, hey, how much is this going to cost me? Choose 3-4 different contractors. And then from there, you decide, hey, which one's the best for me? Because you have between bids and everybody bids differently. Some people exclude all finishes. Some people give you budgets on the finishes. And some people just say, hey, I'm just going to do the rough work and that's it. Not every contractor bid is the same. So you have your contractor you have to vet out. You have your architect you're going to have to vet out. But how are you going to fund this? So once you get the pricing from the contractor, are you going to go with the HELOC? Are you going to go with the refinancing your house? Are you going to go ask for money from everybody you know to build an ADU, or do you just have it in your savings account? Those are the things that I see that most of our clients are using right now to finance their ADUs. There's no special bank financing that's going to just finance the ADU here in Los Angeles. So HELOC, home equity line of credit, refinance, which is probably a little crazy at the time of this video because rates are up, or they're just borrowing money from people and paying them back with interest. That's what I've been seeing with our clients. We've done over 25 ADUs in the past 2 years, and that's what most of our clients are using at the moment. So now, once you get your city permits, you're gonna take those. Don't pull the city permits. That's a big mistake I see a lot of homeowners doing. They go and pull the city permits. Once they're called ready to issue, then once you get the contractor you're gonna choose for the project, they're gonna go pull the permits. Like us, this is what we usually do. We pull the permits, we pay the fees, but we don't actually pay the fees. We have the homeowner reimburse us on the fees because from city to city, fees are different. So what we do then is say, hey, we'll pay the fees, no problem, whatever the fees are, because that's what it is for your project. You just pay them on the back end because I know you're probably busy. That's how we do it. Once we pay the fees, we usually set up a pre-inspection with the inspector that's going to be doing our project. Some cities like Los Angeles, you never know who's going to be the inspector. One day it could be one guy, the next week it's somebody else. So this is why we usually do smaller cities. It's usually the same inspectors, but doesn't say you're going to stay away from Los Angeles. It just means it's done a little differently there. And now here's where most people get taken advantage of in the ADU process, which I want you not to get taken advantage of. Once you start construction, your contractor is going to ask you for a down payment to start. The rules in the contractor state license board says $1,000 down payment or 10%, whichever is less. Obviously, what's less? $1,000. Let's be realistic. There's not going to be a single contractor that could start an ADU for $1,000. That's like not even a day of labor. $1,000. Then they're going to ask you for a down payment on material. Overall, you shouldn't be over 10% when you start the project. And remember, you had to trust them, and we're going to tell you how to vet them right now in a bit. You have 10%. Don't give them more than 10%. I see a lot of homeowners giving 30, 40, 50% up front, and you may say, hey, this is not me. It won't happen to me. But there's case studies. There's actually people that came out on the news that have lost tons of money because they gave a contractor money, a lot of money, 50% up front. And then they have the contractor does a little bit of work and leaves off the job. So this is like, in today's age, that's how most people are getting taken advantage of when you're building an ADU. And they make everything sound so pretty and nice, and it's usually not. So here's how we do it. We take the $1,000 down payment, we start the work, and then we ask for 10% later on for the material. That's how we do it. That's how we do it at Esco Builders. Once we pass foundation inspection, which I don't care if it's a garage conversion, new construction, it doesn't matter. That will be your first inspection you have to pass, is foundation inspection. By then you've done all the demo, all the clean out, that costs money, and you've actually put down rebar to start the foundation. Once you get that approved, we usually ask for another percentage. So it's always based on percentage of work done. If we're done with 50% of the work, we probably have 50% of the payment. That's kind of where we're at. And we usually ask for the payment after we did the work. If your contractor is haggling you over money, to me, that's a red flag already, because they should have a business that's making money that they could probably front load just a little in order for you to feel comfortable. And that's what we do with most of our clients. I want you to feel comfortable. Like, we're not going to take advantage of you, because we're not. That's why I post so much on social media. You could go check our reviews. You could walk job sites. Those are all things you could also do to vet out your contractor. Once framing is done, you did your foundation, now you're in framing. This is where a lot of people get excited. Oh my God, framing's done, we're almost there. That's not the case. And this is where the contractor really takes advantage, and they ask for a huge percentage. I understand there's gonna be a lot of material going in the next inspections, which you have your plumbing inspections, you have your electrical, and you have your HVAC inspections, right? All the rust for that, and that costs a lot of money. But at the same time, don't think you're almost done. Take your time, actually see what the progress has been, and give them up to that percentage. And make sure on your contract you signed with the contractor, there's percentages of payments based on inspections passed. So final, you have your final inspection. Make sure they get all their utilities connected. Make sure they get their sewer line connected, gas connected, all that good stuff. After they get all that done, you have your final inspection. You're almost done with your ADU. So great, good job. Now, what you have to make sure you get is called a certificate of occupancy. Every city does it differently. LA does it differently. Certain cities like Long Beach do it differently. Downey does it differently. Downey, as soon as you sign the job card, you get a job card, you sign that off. As soon as they sign that off, that counts as your certificate of occupancy. Los Angeles, you have to submit paperwork. So based on where you're at, make sure you get a certificate of occupancy for your ADU, not just final inspection and you're done. Once you get the final inspection, great. Now the next part starts. Are you gonna rent it out, or you're gonna have somebody live in there? Let me know what you think in the comments below on this process of doing an ADU. Have you done an ADU? What's been your experience? Let me know in the comments below.